Hello and welcome to this week's look at action and stunts on film and television. How are you? Welcome to Friday. You can relax. It's either the end of your week or the start of another, or the start of a weekend, whichever you want to look at it. And I sincerely hope that you've been well over the last 7 days. This week, if you have listened to the podcast, you'll know that we're in 1990. We're looking at one of my favourite pictures, Total Recall, the original with Arnold Schwarzenegger at the helm, Paul Verhoeven, Sharon Stone, Rachel Tikkonen, all of the stuff there was terrific, huge fun. I remember watching it. I think I went to see it 3 times at the cinema. With that and The Craze as a double bill. Not many cinemas were doing that around those days, but I seem to remember the Showcase in Derby, which isn't, maybe it is there anymore. I don't go to Derby to see pictures very often, but it certainly doesn't appear to be there anymore. Huge fun, absolutely loved it. We are going to take a bit of a sidewards view at this. Copyright isn't great for this particular country. Rest of the world, well, you can have the entire movie in 1080. You can have the entire movie in 4K uploaded to YouTube. Here, different kettle of fish. So we've had to do our very best with putting some bits and pieces together. I sincerely hope you enjoy this. Of course, remember, it was filmed in Mexico, Churubusco Studios. And we'll pose a little quiz question after this. Here we go. So, let's have a look at this whistle-stop tour of Total Recall. A couple of roll calls for you. Vince Dedrick and Alan Graff having a fight there. Billy Lucas and Benny Moore at the top of the escalators. Bronco McLaughlin pops up a handful of times, as does Graham Crowther. And poor old Steve Lambert, well, here's the director.
The scene on the elevator was a good example on that. An innocent bystander is killed. But I thought, okay, this is just a piece of meat. That's a very uncomfortable statement, of course. I shouldn't laugh about it, but I laugh about it because it's film. It's not real. A lot of...
How right he was. Peter Kent, Billy Lucas and Benny Moore, Wayne Michaels and Bronco McLaughlin. Running in, he'd injured himself, Schwarzenegger, doing that. Was doubled by Joel KRAMER for the rest of that. Wayne again popping up, getting beaten up left, right and centre. The fight between the young ladies is very good indeed. The fight between the two girls, Wendy doubling Rachel Tikkonen and Debbie Evans doubling Sharon Stone. They go through the routines. It has to be at least one actor with a stunt performer, even though Verhoeven was pretty keen on getting them both to do it. Here's Sharon to tell you more.
I'd like to show you my honorary stunt women's association. I earned this, okay?
Sharon Stone was terrific to work with because she was as dedicated as all the other ones.
I shot for a couple weeks on this film and then went home and came back. When I got home the first time, I looked like a Dalmatian because when you throw a punch and it just stops against Arnold's arm, it's like hitting a brick wall about 60 miles an hour. I was just black and blue and sore and I couldn't believe it.
But she seemed to enjoy every single moment of it. Joel KRAMER doing a bit more there. And that was the key to the whole thing. Bronco holding the head as it explodes.
You think this is the real Quaid? It is.
It was never in doubt, really, was it? Billy Lucas, Simon Crane and Graham Crowther getting shot. Dickie Beer pops up, quite literally in that sequence. Simon Crane then doubled Michael Ironside. Mayboss in the window. Jean LaBelle at the table. Bronco and Jeannie Epper together at that table there. They're waiting for this explosion to go off. Vince Dedrick Sr., we saw his son earlier in the window as well. Billy Lucas now at the table with Jeannie and Bronco. There's Jeannie running for cover. And as everything starts to happen, as the windows start to come in, there's chaos. There's lots of broken glass everywhere. It's a case of timing, getting people to be in the right place at the right time. Vic and Joel working very hard indeed to make sure that these shots, and this is all at Churubusco, and they really they took this this studio setup here and worked it really, really well, using vertical sets in certain cases, particularly for later on. And, you know, a good time had by all, most great experience gained by some. That's Peter Kent there, who's one of the other doubles. We saw him earlier. Great behind-the-scenes photograph of some of the stunt guys. It's always good to see some of this stuff here. But sadly, you know, I say copyright has only allowed us to use certain bits and pieces. And of course, you'd have a Mars burger at the end of the night, wouldn't you, after the shoot? There's the stunt crew. You can pause and catch up with it. And thank you for watching. There we go. That is a little, maybe you'll be able to identify more people now, and that's the basis of this. There are still a huge amount of names that I've not been able to identify, a huge amount of faces I've not been able to identify. Maybe you can identify them. Maybe you'd like to put it down in the notes below. Comment and tell me who you think is who and where, and we'll do a little Facebook thing about it, or a little social media thing about it, and try and iron out any creases along the way. The question, incidentally, so you saw Sharon there with her Stunt Women's Association t-shirt, sweatshirt, whatever you want to call it. So she was inducted in as an honorary member. But there is an artist, an actress from the United Kingdom, who was also inducted in, and I wonder if you knew who that was, right? There's the question. There is a UK actress who was inducted into the Stunt Women's Association, the same organisation that let Sharon in, you know what I meant, inducted Sharon in. But can you name who that actress was? No prizes, just for fun. But maybe you'd like to comment below, or do so on all of the social medias wherever you find yours. Now, next week, so we've put it off for a little while, but next week we are doing When Eight Bells Toll. That's my understanding. I say that's my understanding because it depends very much on an initial communication that I made with an individual who worked on the picture out in Scotland, and she is going to talk to us about her time on there, so we're going to add that to it as well. We'll have a little look at the action. It's all good stuff, and with a bit of luck, and if we're saved, we'll do it all again next week. Don't forget to check out the podcast. Find that wherever you find yours if you don't already listen. Don't also forget to check out the Pod Dojo Network, who are the people responsible for the podcast. And until next time, it's bye for now.